Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of What's for Dinner. It's about 3:45 on Wednesday afternoon. We are just finishing up with our cooking here, and I'm going to go into explaining to you guys or showing you guys what we have for dinner. But first I wanted to just do a little bit of housekeeping and just let you know that anything you hear or see tonight is not to be considered medical advice. This is purely for educational and satirical purposes. There's nothing serious here about what we're doing. And so go see your primary care provider if you have any questions about your diet stuff or medical stuff. So anyway, here we go.
But make sure they've had training in nutrition and diet before you ask them questions, and don't let them send you to a nutritionist or a dietitian that hasn't had proper training on how to reverse metabolic diseases.
Okay, yeah, very true. And speaking of metabolic diseases, I just want to let you guys know, on Friday, we're going to be going out of town. We're going to be out of town for about 10 days. We're going to sunny San Diego.
Yay. And
we will be there for the Low Carb USA Conference. That's annual conference there. We go there every year. And so we won't be on here doing we'll be doing What's for Dinner, but it probably will only be a couple of nights while we're there. Yeah. And we're going to try and do some special, we're going to try and get some of the guests some of the speakers that are there to pop on and talk to us and maybe do What's for Dinner with them and maybe talk about a fun subject or something. So we're trying to put something together, but hopefully if any of you are in California, you live there, you're going to be in there in that area, the San Diego area, hopefully you guys can swing the Low Carb USA Conference.
Yeah, and you can still sign up and do it virtually because I know it's too last minute to travel there. It's next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but one day is dedicated to type 1 diabetes. Mental health. That was the last one.
Yeah,
one whole day is devoted to mental health, ADD, ADHD, bipolar.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested at all in low carb, keto, carnivore, or they're going to be specifically talking about therapeutic carbohydrate restriction or reduction and mental health stuff. So that's going to be a whole day dedicated to that. They've got some awesome people lined up. Dr. Ben Bickman, Brian Lenskis, Robert Seifus, Gary Taubes,
Georgia Eves.
Yeah, there's just going to be a super lineup. So if you get a chance, pop in. Anyway, here we go. So today we did things. So we did our burgers. First of all, these are our farm to table burgers that we bought. We bought a whole cow and we had it ground. And tonight we did things a little bit different. So Teresa, she took the cheese grater and we grated butter.
Like a
quarter of a stick of butter into the bowl that we had the ground beef in. And then I seasoned it with some garlic salt and some Jane's Crazy mixed up seasoning and some Redmond salt and mixed it all together. And so you can see, one of our complaints about the beef that we had was it was just a little bit dry and a little bit not great with the flavor. So we figured out, we think it needs some fat. So tonight we're experimenting with that. And you can see how much, butter is at the bottom of the pan. That's basically all melted out of the burgers. So anyway, we got the burgers and we have, Teresa's has American cheese, mine has baby Swiss. And then we've got some Butcher Bot brats, and these are Philly cheesesteak brats. And we've got, what the heck happened to the bacon over here, Teresa?
Well, I only made enough.
Oh, that's looking pretty
and I ate a bunch.
Did you eat it while you're, oh my gosh, where did it all go? I can see the grease spots where the bacon was, but there's no bacon there. Okay, so I'm gonna have a piece of bacon tonight with that. And then we air fried also in the air fryer some chicken. Fortunately, Teresa didn't eat all that while I was outside in the heat grilling. We did that on our Vortex Instant Pro. And you can see this is well loved. So, and then we've got some eggs over here scrambled. Yep, and then we just have our
one more night of leftovers.
One more night of leftover spinach dip Teresa made, and then of course all our little extras for the.
And here's the spinach dip recipe if you want to just screenshot while he hovers over it. I don't put artichokes in it anymore, and I quadruple this recipe.
I'll hold it still there for a second so folks can screenshot it if they're interested. Okay. Anyway. So with all this being said, will anything that we prepared here tonight cause our blood sugar or insulin to spike? And why is that important, Teresa?
So many things I really could say.
Yeah.
But no.
But this is not medical advice, guys. Remember, this is all comedy.
It's comedy. The sick care system is comedy. Yeah. So no, none of this will spike your blood sugar because there's no sugar in any of this. There's not one thing in here that has sugar. We would be hard pressed to count our carbs on this with this meal. Yeah. So if you don't eat sugar, your insulin won't spike. If your insulin doesn't spike, you will not get diabetes, or you can reverse your diabetes. We do it all day long in the clinic.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about this is what I'm going to hover in on what has probably the most sugar of everything that we did here tonight. So all this stuff over here that we just went over, and then all the other stuff.
And don't pick on my stuff.
I'm not picking on your stuff. I'm not picking on that. I'm just going to show. I'm picking on the onions. The onions and the tomatoes have the most sugar of everything that we have here tonight. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a little bit, but I'm just saying of all the things that we're preparing here tonight, the I don't know what you want to say. The highest insulin response is going to be from the vegetables.
Yeah.
So,
listen, veggies are not needed. If you like veg, eat it. But veg was not sent from heaven itself for us to have nutrients. Veg contains anti-nutrients. This spinach that we're eating contains oxalates. Oxalates makes kidney stones. So vegan and vegetarian diets are high in oxalates. And I shouldn't even say vegan and vegetarian because the way we eat in America is essentially vegetarian. We eat tons of chicken and mushy pasta and bread and yogurt and nothing with any nutrients, or it's essentially animal or plant-based.
Well, really low quality protein too, because it's plant-based proteins and stuff, and they just aren't the same. Right. If you took 10 grams of like pea protein that you can buy in these supplements or whatever, only about half of that is absorbable. It's not bioavailable.
I saw that there's a hospital, I don't know if it was satire, I didn't look too far into it, but they have changed their whole hospital policy to plant-based to help people heal. There has not been one shred of evidence about plant-based diets, but there have been lots of information and research on ketogenic starting from the early 1900s when we did it for diabetes and seizures.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Right. So you had some stuff you wanted to talk to us about tonight. We got a little bit off topic.
So 2 things I saw on Tuesday because I didn't work today. So one lady I did a consult with, and she went to another clinic here in town. She's 52 years old, so 1 year younger than me. Went to another clinic in town. I had all her labs already. And so she had a hysterectomy. When I asked her complaints, she said she's not herself. She can't think. She can't concentrate. She can't sleep. She hasn't slept in years. She's so hot. She has the air down, a fan pointing on her. Her husband hasn't slept in the same bed with her for years. She's been doing her job and she's very proficient at it for a long time, but the littlest normal tasks for her job seem overwhelming. She's ragey, moody. She said if she'd never have sex again, wouldn't be a big deal. Like all the things, right? This is what I hear all day long. And I look at the labs that this office did, and she told me they cost $1,000, which they don't cost that much at our office, but 0 progesterone, 0 estrogen, pretty much 0 testosterone.
That's what her level showed up as?
Yeah. She didn't even need thyroid. I love to give thyroid, but she didn't even need that one. She had 0 sex hormones, all these complaints, and the other clinic gave her supplements.
Well, hopefully there was some DHEA in there at least.
There was not.
Oh, because that would have helped a
little. It was
little.
a B complex.
Wow.
So it matters where you go. So sometimes you guys, I feel bad because you waste your time at these other places. And she was highly motivated. So I had to fit this appointment into a small space on Tuesday. So I gave her my 2 podcasts that I've done in the past, and she listened to them both. And when she talked to me, she's just like, I have hope now. Like I had given up because you've been somewhere and you still don't get any help. And then a friend of hers, it's a couple hours away. I have a few patients from that area. She walked into her office where she worked, and she said she's known this woman her whole life. And she was just like, what are you doing? You look amazing. And it's obvious that you feel amazing. And so she told her about me.
For those people, especially the ones on YouTube who probably aren't familiar with it, what are the 2 podcasts that you, where can they go?
So it's Brian Linskis' podcast, Life's Best Medicine, and it's number 110. So if you just Google YouTube, whatever, Life's Best Medicine, number 110, I'll pop up. And then Low Carb MD, number 115, that was in 2020. And then I recently it's called Simply Authentic, number 62.
Okay. Those are all on the Apple or the Apple, I think it's the app, podcasts.
Or just Google it with your Safari or whatever you use.
Okay, gotcha. And you
and then, is that what you're going to?
No, I was going to say, you got another case study to talk, a case study sort of.
So on Tuesday, also this patient that's been seeing me forever, and I mean since like 2016.
The beginning.
The very beginning. Her and her husband are on my program. They've been doing great. Everything's fine. She, back in May, started developing, she didn't describe them as floaters, but something that made her vision off. So she went to her primary doctor in a little small town, and he diagnosed her with blisters on the back of her eyes, like on the retina. Now, I'm not familiar with all this, so.
She described it to me as if you stared at a light bulb really close, or the sun, for a period of time and then closed your eyes and then reopened them, you have that big orange spot or that sunspot in your eyes.
Okay.
She said that's there all the time in one of her eyes. That's how she described it to me.
So she called the office. They were in town, and she talked to Mark, and she was really upset because she had just, that was back in May, but yesterday she came up to Springfield and saw an ophthalmologist at Mercy and told her everything, and he said, it's your testosterone. That causes blisters on the back of the retina, and you have to stop it right now. So she called Mark crying, and I was like, listen, just have her pop in the office. She went to Quest and got labs. I have quite a few Quest phlebotomists that are my patients, and one of the Quest phlebotomists is like, I'm no medical person, but I can 1,000% guarantee you that's not testosterone. So when Mark was first telling me her symptoms, I said, oh no, she's got shingles in her eye. But then it wasn't, it was this. So anyway, I think this, so I say to her, this is not a thing. This is not a thing. If it was, all 16-year-old men, boys, to 26-year-old men would have blisters on their eyes.
Right.
Because they have like 1 trillion times testosterone as I have you on right now.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, like it's nowhere in the literature. It's not even a rare thing that can happen. And number three, you gave him an out by telling him that you're on hormones. It's the easiest out. So he said steroids cause these. So then he lists prednisone, dexamethasone, Flonase, nasal steroid. So maybe he's lumping testosterone into steroids, but talk about misinformation.
Yeah.
That's bad.
So anyway, after that whole appointment with you, and then talking some more about it with them in the office, they are going to go get a second opinion on it.
Right. And her primary doctor in this little town, I said, how did he diagnose this? Because I've never heard of this anyway. Like with his little eye thingy-majiggy, the ophthalmoscope. And she said, yeah, he has a machine. So I was like, that doctor at Mercy was annoyed that your little PCP in that little small town helped you and knew what it was. Because her PCP said, I can either send you to a specialist, we can wait it out, most of the time it heals on its own, or I can give you drops. As soon as she told the Mercy specialist that, he's like, no drops, you can't have drops. So I just know how this goes. Listen guys, I hear this every day. You guys know a lot more than you think you do.
Yeah, the gaslighting and the,
gaslighting.
the egos and stuff.
It's like, I just saw something that 79% of women say they've been gaslit by medical professionals. 79%?
Yeah.
What are we teaching in med schools or nurse practitioner schools? What are we teaching?
Yeah.
We're teaching don't find the root problem, so make everyone think they're crazy and it's in their head and you just need to lose weight and take an antidepressant.
Yeah, it's genetic. You can't do things on your own. You need help. It's just the whole same old thing. It just keeps selling more drugs, more medical procedures, longer times in the hospitals. Anyway, there's a lot of money to be made off of us, guys. We're milk cattle. So anyway, we're at 13 minutes now, which is like a new record for us. It's going to take an hour to upload this to YouTube. So anyway, are you good, hon?
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we'll try and do another one tomorrow. If not, though, don't be alarmed. If we're not around for a few days, we'll be in San Diego. So we love you all. If you have any questions or whatnot, shoot them our way. Tell us what you're having for dinner.
Yes.
And we hope to see you guys at church tonight.
Yes.
All right. God bless you all. See you next time. Bye.